Will, don't you think that's a change? A phenomenal change. The fact of subsidizing supply to subsidizing demand, that subsidies reach the most vulnerable. That is, it is a way of focusing and improving. I mean, I think one of the most wonderful things is what Sandra Petofelo is doing with human capital. Yes.
Remove it from middlemen.
And you know,
I think that's
phenomenal.
not perfect.
I mean, what about
Besides,
Deborah?
we eliminate intermediaries right at the toughest process. From the adjustment in a context where
We apply the universal child allowance and the food card.
imagine we are focusing on taking care
Thank
of
you
the
for your
vulnerable, not just that. But we are also developing a program so that the middle class does not
Don't lose it.
access to education. What's that about?
Forces from...
Sure, because you see, it happens, Dere. This is something fundamental. All good Argentinians understand that you can't constantly live beyond your means. No?
Yes, that's right.
There's a channel dedicated to tracking people, and they get pointed out every day. They have to go and hire actors to do the critique.
Indica, right?
Well
yes.
done, man.
C5N? Yes, exactly.
Because
Raining. Who's doing it?
good abayo, sir. Bicho.
He says so.
So people already understand that an adjustment needs to be made. The main issue is who pays for it. What we are proposing is that politics pays for it. And well, it was noticed in Congress. Funny how when we send out the executive order, you know, everyone gets their executive orders approved. Only mine has a problem. And to think that I am
returning
everyone,
freedom.
Just think.
I'm making the market more competitive, of course. But there's a problem.
I meddled with politics strings, and that made waves in Congress. But I don't know what to say then. People know
What? What
I've
is
been
that?
living beyond my means.
possibilities, and that this is broken, and that an effort is needed. So the main point is who pays for it and what.
We're doing this.
And as far as we later stabilize the economy,
I'm not going to increase spending. You're going to spend taxes. What do you think? Yes? The helicopter. Is it too much or not?
I don't know, because that would mean starting to investigate seriously.
Mainly.
But do you realize that there are some betting on you leaving earlier, right? Yes, yes. Those who shout, long live the consensus Caroyas too.
I did it for the challenge. Yeah, sure. Let's say, I mean, why didn't you just say, long live corruption, damn it? Because at the end of the day, we've already seen what consensus was. I don't know if you remember. But in my time as a deputy, I was strongly criticized. They said I was absent.
That after when...
The problem was, let's say, that I didn't vote in particular discussions. Of course, in particular discussions, you left. Why didn't I vote? Why? Because that's where the scam was. And what happened? Jump.
All the junk, all the mess.
Trust funds is the word, Javier. Yes. And we are going to strongly move against all the black boxes in
There are
politics.
10 trusts that are just a decree away, which the president, if he wants, were created by decree, can be swept
I am
away by
asking
decree.
you a question. Is that the number? Why would I make a decree to clean them up?
No, well,
Want to
it's
bet?
a question.
You are going to issue a decree that cleans up all the trusts.
What do you think? If I have them within a decree's reach,
Note it down, as
In
those are
total of
tickets.
10,000, 20,000, 30,000 million
all
euros.
the bluster is like $20 billion. They're all politics black boxes.
And you have them all within a decree's reach.
Oh, there's something I have to tell you. There are 29, if I remember correctly.
If I'm not mistaken, 29 national trusts, of which 10 are by decree.
You know...
Then there are the provincial trusts, because they trust. That has been covered on television. It turned into a waste.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
No.
Good morning.
Companies
exactly
within
the
the
title.
state that distributed money to many.
That needs to be ended. Well, that makes many very nervous.
Governors, representatives,
There are people in politics who
Are
live
you
off it.
still planning to dollarize whenever you can dollarize? Yes.
And when do you think you will be able to? When do you think you can dollarize? And when do you think you can lift the controls?
Let's see.
What makes
Yes,
the
let's
difference?
talk about dollarization. There's a huge job being done by the central bank. And it probably saves people.
Who understands
Lydia,
the mafia isn't watching it?
But in the following Ceci.
We print money to
Well,
buy.
in this event, we bought $7 billion in the market. Then we have a problem with the endogenous
It's
money
like-
emission. Yes, that is the legacy of crimes.
I mean, we cleaned a lot, but everything.
There's still a lot left. So, in that context, we have those two sources of monetary emission. When you look, monetary issuance, the variation of the base does not vary. It is fixed well. That's one of the reasons why inflation is accelerating. Exactly. So what's happening? Context, what you have is that we are compressing by fiscal sector and with the BOPREAL. Now, when you look at the central bank's balance sheet, so you started to deflate C assets.
And say the debt of
Importers. But you watch, today we have a monetary base of around $8 billion, and we've purchased reserves for
Then
$7
throw
billion.
millions of dollars.
Manning, today we've covered
5% the base. And
87.4%.
what does that have to do with the exchange rate? With the exchange control?
Does that have
or
to do with
the
Elisa
lasting
being
one?
the exchange rate
You're
of little
a stone's throw from Don Guisa.
A very
A stone's
urgent
throw from
mission.
Don
An
Guisa.
uncle, but check this out. The problem is not that, well, you already have that, so to speak. Now, you need to clear the rest of the paid liabilities. That is, you have to keep working on the issue of paid reserves. In other words, in reality, from the passes, and what you need is a financial
would turn
system
him into a
reform
poodle.
for what not be vulnerable to a run. So one thing is that we assume the following: if we continue to clean the central bank's balance at the rate we do, the International Monetary Fund estimates that we can lift the currency controls. Mid-year, what do you say?
I prefer it's no longer mathematics. It's not an exact science.
Well, we're following. Dollarization on the president's mind. Is it pure and hard dollarization like some models or free competition of currencies as suggested by Domingo
Let's see.
Cavallo?
I'm talking about free competition. I always talked about currency-free competition. When all this blew up, do you know where it happened? In your program. In your program. And I talked about free competition in currency. And they brought up dollarization.
So
let's see, ask him. Sorry, it was Turner's turn.
No, I
He
don't
would
think I
have
do.
said,
Having
it
said
was
that,
almost
well,
like a Din series or something
here
else.
comes the second one.
Well, I'm a pro, right?
Lot of
No.
Italian.
Well, where do you think it comes
But
from?
having said that,
What's important?
There is a coin that one will come out ahead.
That's why the count was always made in
Dollar.
But it's free competition.
Coin.
Meaning, if you want to use the euro, you'll use the euro. If you want to
Use the dollar.
the virgin is whatever you want. Suppose you're an oil company. If you're going to use WTI, suppose you're into gas, you use BTU. Suppose you're in the field, you use the soybean price in Chicago. What's interesting about this? That it's going to be a currency basket model. Values arise endogenously from individuals' choices.
Persimmon.
Pasta, I don't think so, because he was actually enslaved by politics. It's no longer there. I mean, asking them to lose enslaved.
Regarding the U.S. Treasury and the Federal
exactly.
Reserve, now where does the peso stand in that scheme? The peso revives.
No, that no longer exists.
Thank you for
Why
joining
do you
us.
think no one will choose him? Not because it's your choice, but because you think no one will choose it. Do you think anyone will want the peso? No, it's okay. We beat it 3-0, and we could take 3 more off. What you need to understand is that the central bank is probably the most scam mechanism, so sophisticated that it created the state of history, because every time it issues, it's like forging paper. It's like noodles, you press
With the
them and
elevator
they
sauce,
snap.
right?
That's how it is.
but they force you to eat them, and when you do, you
It hurts to feel bad
Yes, indeed.
because
Poor
the paper
woman,
is not
poor.
with us.
There was on
So is that moving forward, or are we leaving?
Oh no, I don't think there was anything
Okay,
like that. What I believe
They
is
connected.
what happened to you? Let's see.
There are several.
Maria Sang.
Prior to the ceremony,
Pope Francis invited Diana Mondino, my sister, and me so that